Number 10. Robbers climb fence and break it. These guys seem to have everything planned out pretty well. They climb the fence one at a time, and it appears that everyone has their own role to play in this robbery. It appears to be going their way for the first 3 people who climb the fence. They're being quiet and pretty careful not to get caught. And then partner number 4 comes around. He hands them some tools through the fence before starting to climb it himself, at which point he botches the entire thing. As he's climbing over, he puts too much weight on the fence's spikes, causing them to bend and snap, and probably making a good amount of noise as he does this. The others, be it to see if their partner's okay or because they think the noise will attract too much attention, quickly climb back over the fence and run for it empty-handed. From one point of view, the 4th guy prevented the robbery, so I guess a thanks is in order? Number 9. Woman hides TV in her dress. This one's just crazy. How the hell did she do this? This woman literally just walks into the store, sticks a television between her legs, pulls her dress down to hide it, and walks out as if nothing happened. How does she hide it so well? Well, as she walks out, everything's covered, so you can't see anything. Seriously, how the hell is she walking normally? This lady must have some killer leg muscles. Number 8. Robbers try breaking a window and knock themselves out in the process. Here we have 2 rookie robbers from the looks of things. One of them is just looking around while the other tries to break a window on their target building. Instead of using something like a steel bat or a crowbar to break the glass, this guy decides it's a better idea to throw something really hard at the glass. The first thing he throws bounces off and smashes his partner right in the back of the head, instantly knocking him out. Without realizing this, he tries again, this time hitting himself in the face and falling to the ground. These guys aren't really the sharpest tools in the shed, are they? Number 7. Thief tries stealing laptops and breaks them all. We've all had those times where we've forgotten our phones or over our data limits and we run into the computer store just to check Facebook on one of those display laptops. But most of us know that those laptops are just for display, meaning the store is leaving them out in the open for prospective customers to test them out. And as such, they have certain security measures in place to prevent thievery, and they're definitely not subtle about it. Everyone who just walks by these computers can see that they are anchored to the shelf more securely than the pens at the bank. Despite this fact, this thief still thinks he'll be able to go in and steal a bunch of laptops from the store. Does he happen to bring a pair of wire cutters? No. It seems that he thinks he can just pull the computers off the shelf and the anchors will just snap. Well, he was wrong. After breaking half a shelf's worth of computers and tablets, this thief decides to just walk out with his dignity and his face on a security camera. Say cheese. Number 6. Guy puts on a mask after seeing the camera. Sometimes criminals aren't the sharpest tools in the shed, but this guy is on a whole nother level. So he starts off by walking right up to the doors of the store. Right off the bat, not doing a good job at being inconspicuous with what outfit he's sporting. He then looks into the store, giving the camera a good look at his face in the process, before walking off camera to pull a pair of leggings down over his head, and then walking right back to the doors. First, our expert criminal looks around to make sure nobody is watching, and then he very delicately chucks what looks to be a brick at the glass door. Unfortunately for him, the glass is a little bit more resistant than he thought, and cracks heavily but doesn't break. This sets off an alarm, at which point he immediately gives up and runs away. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? Of course not. He falls over twice before finally getting out of view of the camera. Number 5. Robber runs into the door. We don't even know where to start with this guy, so he breaks the bottom of the door after whacking it a few times, and he ducks into the store through the broken glass. Okay, that part is fine. Well, not really, but you know what we mean. Anyways, he goes into the store off camera for a few seconds, and then he runs back towards the door, seemingly empty-handed. Now, the door on the right is obviously the broken one. The glass is shattered and the cracks are impossible to miss on the part that is still intact. And on top of that, that's the door he came in through. But then, as he's making his escape, he runs right into the other door head first, realizes his mistake, and crawls out through the broken door again. Number 4. Guy tries to steal till through a drive-thru window. If there's one thing to appreciate about this video, it's this guy's dedication to stealing the till from this fast food restaurant. Seriously, he gets a gold star for effort, even if it was a pretty stupid plan. I mean, even the employees weren't worried about this guy. They tried to stop him really quickly before realizing it was pointless and walking away. Everyone but this thief knew that there was no way that this was going to fit out of this drive-thru window. and yet he sits there for an entire minute or so, struggling to squeeze it out. I know a minute usually isn't considered a very long period of time, but in this case, it kind of is. He struggles to get a metal box out of a window that's obviously too small. Eventually, he gives up, drops the till on the floor, and then leaves. Number 3. Woman steals a cookie and gets caught by owner. While this one constitutes as little more than petty theft, its stupidity is pretty funny. Also, sorry about the vertical video. After making a bit of a scene in a restaurant and attracting the attention of the owner, this woman decides that it's a good idea to reach over the counter and take a bite of a cookie when the cashier has his back turned. She then tries to justify her stealing by saying she was joking, and that the cookie wasn't very good. Unfortunately for her, the owner saw this and caught it on video, and since the store doesn't sell individual cookies, she ended up having to pay for more cookies than she got. This makes her mad and she starts arguing that it's unfair that she didn't get what she paid for, and again protests that the cookies aren't very good. It goes on for a few minutes before she ultimately leaves the store after paying $3 for her half-eaten cookie. Probably one of the happier endings on this list. Number 2. Guy tries to rob a bank with a butcher knife. Everyone knows that if you're going to perform robbery, the bank is both the best and the worst option. They got a whole lot of money, but, they're also made not to be robbed. While most to-be bank robbers are foiled by on-site security, timed vault locks, or when the police eventually show up, this guy was foiled by a sheet of glass. Here we can see the robber walk up to the window, butcher knife in hand. At this point, he, for some reason, pulls out his phone and either answers a call or uses his speed dial. Either way, not the best time. Take note of that massive glass window, and the fact that his weapon of choice has very little impact force. The situation is so baffling that even the clerk turns around and laughs at him while calling a friend over. The man is then detained by a pair of officers without much of a fight. Number 1. Guy gets his beats stolen on a subway. I think this is a cautionary tale for all obnoxiously loud music listeners. Moral of the story, it's okay to enjoy your music in public, but it's not okay to make other people listen to your off-key sing-alongs when they're just trying to get home after a long day's work. After enjoying his music a little too much for what we can assume was just a little too long, this guy gets his beats stolen right as the subway doors close by a perfectly timed thief who jumps off at just the right moment. It's both sad and a little funny to watch the former Beats owner freak out as he can only helplessly watch the thief escape.